Hi everyone. So first of all, I'm sorry for my dissertation wall of text that I sent you yesterday. As you might be able to tell, I'm very excited about this topic. Probably a bit more excited than I thought I was. So this morning I received an email from someone saying that it's a quite a lot of text to get through, which I can appreciate. I can appreciate the feedback. So I figured I would do a little video, basically just like highlighting some of the different points that I've made in my little dissertation of a text. So here it goes. I figured I'd not sort of spend too much time in my head worrying about the production value or anything. This is just sort of like internal use and then to help you save a bit of time. So not my comfort zone. There's a reason why I'm a writer and not on TV, but let's do it. Okay, so I even have my text next to me because I realize it's quite a lot. So even I need my notes next to me. So if you see me glancing over to the side, it's because I can't quite keep track. So first of all, someone asked me during our interviews leading up to this why I'm doing it, and I'm doing it because I don't think I'm all that special. I think for the longest time I thought I was somehow uniquely flawed and that all of my issues were unique and that that there's something sort of more wrong with me and my brain than the average brain. And then sort of through years of like meditation and like really working with myself, I kind of realized that my main affliction is that I'm a human and that can be really hard to manage and really hard to master. And our brains all don't always sort of have our best interests at heart. And it's taken me quite some time to figure that out. And writing has been like an immense part of that process and really been really helpful for me. So I figured since I'm not all that unique and it's been helpful for me, then maybe it's been helpful for someone else. And I mean, like the coaching market is a $1 billion industry. So that in and of itself is a testament to the fact that we're all kind of struggling a bit with this thing called life. And yeah, for me, writing really works. And I think writing is a wonderful tool to get to know yourself both emotionally and intellectually. And I make that distinction between the two because I think it's a very important one to make. Well, I'll discuss it a bit in greater detail later this week, but essentially just understanding that difference between, there's a difference between understanding how certain things in your life may have affected you and reliving those experiences. And in my dissertation, I mentioned this classmate of mine who lost his mother at the age of, I think he was around 13 or 14 at the time. He was quite young. And so when our teacher went to offer her condolences to him and his family, she said, "Don't worry, you'll get over this in time. Like time will heal all wounds," which is bullshit, by the way. Time doesn't heal any wounds. So to which he replied, "This is not something you get over. This is something you get through." And I think that's a really important distinction in how we deal with trauma in our lives. I think there's too much focus on pushing, like getting over stuff and not really getting through stuff. And for me, writing has been an immensely valuable tool to actually get through some of my emotions and not just get over them. Because I think for the longest time I was like, okay, fine. I knew intellectually that these and these things had happened in my life and this had sort of created slightly counterproductive habits and habits, but I hadn't really relived those emotions. And so for me to relive those emotions, writing has been such a great way for me to sit back and sort of let my brain relive those experiences and do a fair bit of crying in the process too. Like I've been sitting in front of my screen, like bawling my eyes out, but it's been super cleansing and really rejuvenating and super helpful. And I think that's the distinction, like that's the distinction between knowing yourself intellectually and knowing yourself emotionally. And I think to know yourself emotionally, like you need to take time to relive those experiences. And now, why is that important? Why do we sort of like need to sit and be super like self-indulgent and like, look at our own narrow little perspective? I think that's important because I think a lot of people in the world have really good intentions to make a difference in the world, but it's often led by ego, need for validation, or need for distraction. And I don't think that's sustainable. I think what's sustainable when you want to make a difference in the world is doing it from the basis of your own authentic self, not from some need to distract yourself or boost your own ego, um, because that can work for you for a short period of time, maybe to keep you motivated. But I think if you want to make a long lasting impact, then I think you need to do it from the point of your authentic self. And finding your authentic self, in order to do so, I think you need to go through that process of removing some of those blockages that are inherent in all of us. Because, I mean, as much as I don't want to sort of blame our parents, like our parents were also flawed individuals. And this is not going to be like 6 weeks about blaming your parents, but just to name an example, there's a lot of trauma happening in our childhood because our parents are uniquely flawed individuals, just like their grandparents were flawed. We're all flawed individuals. That's bound to have some sort of like impact on who you are today. And yeah, so to get through to your emotional, like your authentic self, I think you need to get through that. And also, I think writing and reading is a great way to help people gain perspective on other people, both through writing and through reading. So, writing from the perspective of someone else can be a valuable experience and help you really sort of broaden your understanding. And reading from other people's perspective is incredibly valuable. So, in the test, I don't know how many people did the test, but actually, I think my top character trait was perspective. And I do think perspective is so important and more important than ever. We're becoming so terrifyingly polarized in this world, and I fear that if that keeps happening, I don't know how much is left of this world. So I think we need perspective more than ever. We need perspective on ourselves. We need perspective on those around us, and I think writing can be a wonderful tool to do that. So that's my why. That's why I'm doing this, and I'm really excited, as you can tell. And I hope you'll stay tuned with me and stay open minded and see what happens. And yeah, that was the why.